Yo, what's up? This is King I'm For Real with RasheedAlmondTV, and today we have a special guest. We're interviewing BLAQ, known as BLAQ. He's a business owner, a musical artist, and a family man. Listen, get them drinks together. We finna dig into his life. So, with you finally coming out to the public, as a gay male, when did you know that it was time for you to come out?
I knew it was time for me to come out after my first marriage. Well, actually, I wouldn't say come out. I didn't really have no big coming out type situation because people already knew I was bisexual and knew I liked men or whatever like that. Even my ex-wife knew. So it was hard coming from a marriage to a woman who act like she didn't know that, I like males or whatever like that. And I dealt with a lot of, oh, you're not gonna see your kids, it was just a lot of stuff, dealt with people bashing me, calling me a dude chaser, saying that they don't deal in shitty business. And it more so came from her side of the family, but my family, they accept me. Me and my mom has grown very close. But yeah, it was.
So before we get into you and your kids and stuff, I just want to dig, I just want to backtrack just a little bit. Okay. So how did your family first view you when you showed them the sign that you was gay? Because our moms always said that we always knew.
Yeah.
So when you felt like she knew, how did it feel?
My mama ignored it. My first incident, kind of gay out incident or whatever like that, I was like 16. And I was dating this guy, his name, but I was dating this guy. Because I ain't finna get him that. But I was dating him and we were in high school, I was in band. He used to come he went to West Lawrence, I went to Dublin at the time. He used to come from West Lawrence if he got out of school, drive his little Jeep or whatever like that, come see me, we go to the mall, do all this stuff like that. So his aunt didn't know that he was gay. So me and him would have conversations on the phone and stuff like that. And one night, I had to be probably about 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. My mama wakes me up. And she like, Raheem, come here. I'm like, okay, what's going on? You waking me up out my sleep, what's going on? I'm thinking she needed me to clean up something or something like that. But she asked me, she said, who have you been talking to? And I was just like, Mama, what you mean? And she said that, some kids' auntie just called and said that you and her nephew had been talking or whatever, boyfriend type situation. Right. And she said if you call him again, that she's gonna call the police on you and take a restraining order out of you. So I told Mama, I was just I straight up told her me and him were dating, and I didn't know his auntie didn't know or whatever like that. So my stepdad was very abusive, very, very abusive. And he comes out.
Abusive towards you.
Yeah, my stepdad was very abusive, and I feel honestly, I got it the worst out of everybody. He came out of nowhere and just was like, "Oh, so you gay? So you like boys?" And just started calling me everything but a child. Just calling me out my name, all kind of stuff, or whatever like that. So my mom, being who she was at the time, my mom just ignored it. The next day I tried to talk to my mama about it. My mom was like, Raheem, I don't want to hear you. You give me a headache. She ignored it. She tried to block it out or whatever like that. So I dealt with a lot of names and stuff like that.
So would you say, both of your parents, they disowned you?
My dad was actually dead. So at the time I actually popped out and stuff like that, he had passed or whatever. And my stepdad, he just was mean. And he was abusive as fuck. My mama didn't disown me, but she just didn't want to talk about that subject. So it kind of forced me halfway in the closet. To the point where I did start dating girls and stuff like that, which I still love women or whatever. So I did what I felt would make my mama more comfortable with seeing me instead of me bringing the dude home. You feel what I'm saying?
So how did you feel mentally, knowing that your mom, was blocking you out? Your dad was abusive. What was your way out? Did you have anybody to talk to?
I didn't. I didn't have nobody to talk to about it. I was very hurt, and I was a strong individual. I was a strong child, very strong child. So it's like I internalized that, and I dealt with it the best way I could. Like, people would still say, looking back then, they would have never known I was going through the stuff that I was going through. Like, I was getting beat on, all kind of stuff. Like, it was a lot. Like, I just dealt with it.
What would you say the hardest moment of just growing up in general?
The hardest moment of growing up was dealing with a stepdaddy who wasn't really a father figure in my life. Like, that was the hardest moment, especially after losing my daddy. I lost my daddy on my 14th birthday.
Yeah.
So dealing with hearing, oh, you gay, you this, like, putting me out on the interstate, on all kind of stuff. Like, and at that time I had started doing music in church and stuff like that. And there was a lot of stuff that I was dealing with at home that people didn't know about in church. So I was still doing my music and stuff like that. And I mean, I would be going to church, trying to get to church. My stepdad would make me walk. I used to live in Montrose, in Montrose, the country, and I'm sure Brandon can know, he know what Montrose is. So Montrose had to be about a good 30, 45 minutes from Dublin, kind of, sort of,
So
give or take.
walking.
I would walk, and that would take damn near 3-4 hours for me to get from my house to church. Sometimes people will see me and they'll pick me up or whatever like that, but I was determined to still do my music, so I would just walk.
So knowing that you grew up, with an abusive stepdad, inside the home, how would you, how was it? Like, did you never, could you ever imagine like running away? We just knew that it was better days on the other side.
I did. I ran away. I actually left my mama's house when I was about 16. The first time I left, and for some reason my mom was just like, come back. And I think after I came back, we ended up moving to back to Dublin. And it was one day in particular, and it was around Christmas time, where me and my mama, we good, you know what I'm saying? We was good then too. Me and my mama used to joke and just say little stuff like we do now. And I woke up one morning on the way to school, and my mama said something to me, and I was like, oh girl, something like that. I did something of that nature, you know what I'm saying? And my stepdad just came out of nowhere. I'm talking about with a mop stick. Hit me across the head. All I saw was blood dripping. Now, mind you, I'm on my way to school. Blood. I still got a gash in my head. Like, the part that I have here, it actually covers it up. So it's like, it was a lot, dealing with that. It was a lot.
Did you ever feel like your mom, didn't love you, or because of some fact of how your stepdad was? Like, how could it be? How can my mom love me and she allows a man to beat up me?
I felt like my mama didn't love me. I really did. I honestly felt like I was just like the black sheep of the family. I felt like that. It's just, like you said, how could you let somebody treat your child this way? And I feel like because my daddy wasn't there, it had a lot to do with it. Because I guarantee you, if my daddy was living, I wouldn't have been going through that. I really wouldn't have. But she made me feel like I couldn't talk to her, couldn't say nothing. Like, I was really by myself in the house full of my sisters and all this stuff, and I was by myself. Like, I didn't have nobody to talk to about it. But my outlet at that time was either music or dealing with dudes.
So knowing that you're, a strong, brave, black, gay man now, how do you view them now? Is it some regrets? You like, if they are down, you like, I help you out. It's like, I really don't want to bother with you guys that much because of the way y'all treated me growing up.
You know something? I feel like God has brought me so far mentally. And when I say I'm strong, I'm very strong. And I'm not just saying it. Because my stepdaddy, I love him. Can't nobody say nothing about him. Mm-hmm. Like, as he got older and older and stuff like that, I realized God started doing stuff. When God said that he'll make your enemy your footstool, that's so true. Because as my stepdad started getting older, he started getting sick and stuff like that. And I was just like, I can't walk around holding these grudges towards this man just because of stuff. I never knew how he was raised. I didn't know. So I felt like he did what he thought was right or whatever like that. Even though it wasn't right, he did what he thought was right. So I forgave him and I moved on. And with my mama, me and my mama have gotten so close. Like my mom like one of my best friends. Like if anything ever happened to my mama, I would have a fit because she just. When I actually came out, she just told me this a few weeks ago. She was like, when you came out, you did it. She said, I admire you.
Right.
Because you have so much courage to say, fuck everybody else. I'm going to live my life the way I want to live my life. So my mama made me feel so good. And like I said, she's like my best friend.
And you know, speaking as a sister stuff, how did they view you?
Yeah, my sister still did. Listen, when I tell you my sister love me, especially my sister Bree. Bree like my baby.
Right.
Bree does not care. She love me either way. My other sisters, they be like, you need to stop that gay shit, but they really don't care. But we joke like that. But Bree, when I tell you, when we grew up, when I moved to Atlanta, me and her started roommating and stuff like that. Me and her got like this,
right.
Not even this, like this,
right.
To the point where I would talk to Bree about everything. Like every relationship I have been in, if I had issues, I would call Bree and she'd just talk to me like, bro, you know you need to do this or you need to do that or just leave that nigga alone or anything like that. Like she has always been like my siblings, they just like, okay, whatever.
So, you know, we got to the family. So now, you know, I feel like, you know, just by being a guy in general, I feel like the hardest thing next is our homeboys or like who the people that we grew up with. Did you lose like any friends or?
I lost a lot of friends. I lost, oh my God, and we can start from high school. Like when I came out, it was people who were gay, who were actually gay, stopped talking to me.
Right.
Like, and they were kind of openly gay, like they were just like, ugh, and stopped talking to me. Mm-hmm. Like I guess, I don't know whether they wanted to give this DL aspect or whatever, but
right.
they just stopped talking to me. And I really, to be honest, I thank God for it because with all that baggage that they were carrying, I wouldn't have been able to bring them along with me. And as I got older, I have family and people from church. Oh my God, they turned their back on me so bad.
See, that's what I want to dig into next because the church family is something that, you know, we want to go and live up to and all that stuff. But it's like they view us different. So how did your church family view you?
I would say my head pastor, he didn't touch on it. He knew what was going on, and I love him. God knows I love Pastor Mark. I really do. He never really judged me or anything like that. Every time I would go home to church or whatever, he still hugged me the same. You know, I guess he understands that people have, you know, their own life to live, but it was other people in church who would toot their nose up at me. Like people who I thought were like my rival guy. Like they toot their nose up at me, they stopped calling, they stopped texting, like they disowned me. When I left my baby mama, they went more on her side than they did. They didn't want to hear my story at all.
Right.
They didn't want to hear why me and her got divorced. They didn't want to hear nothing from me. They stuck by her. So it was very hurtful.
So before, you know, having kids, did, you know, people think you was going through a phase, or did you ever think you was going through a phase, or you just knew? Like,
I knew when I was young that I was gay. I knew I liked men a long time before any of this. Like, I already knew. Real young, I knew. So I definitely didn't see it as a phase at all. I knew it.
You know, and just looking from the outside, I just feel like you're a different, you know, type of guy. Like I said, you like a motivator to me. So I just feel like, you know, with you having kids, you know, are you the way you are because you want to show your kids that, hey, be a man. Like I want to raise you as a man. Like you don't give me like flamboyant and all that stuff.
Yeah, I definitely want to raise my kids to be men. And we actually had the gay talk. So me and my kids, we had the gay talk a few days, and they're young, and it took me by surprise. But my middle son, he called my youngest son gay, and so I'm sitting in the car, like I look back, I'm like, dude, what you know about being gay? So he tells me, like, Daddy, well, being gay is when two guys kiss each other or two girls kiss each other. I said, so you know what gay is? So I said, who told you this? He said, well, Papa talked to us about it. And then my youngest son said, yeah, Daddy, I don't want to do what the devil tells me. I don't want to do what the devil tells me to do. So I was like, what you mean? And he was like, the devil be telling me stuff. And Papa was like, no, you don't supposed to do that and this and that third like that. So I called their mom. And I got out the car and I asked her, I was like, how do these kids know about this? Like, they 9, 6, and 5. Like, why are y'all having a conversation with my kids about stuff like this? And I asked her, did they know I was gay? And she was like, yeah. I said, who told them? She said, get in the car and ask them. So I got back in the car. I said, y'all knew Daddy was gay? My middle son said no. My oldest, he was like, yeah, but I don't care. My youngest son, he was like, yeah, Daddy, but I don't want you to be gay. And I said, what you mean by you don't want me to be gay? And he was like, Daddy, I just don't want you kissing boys. And I said, well, the thing is, I said, y'all want to be happy in life, right? And they was like, yeah. I said, y'all want to see Daddy happy? They said, yeah. I said, y'all love Daddy, right? They was like, yeah. I said, well, the choices that I make in my life, that doesn't make me a bad person. Just because you're gay and I identify different from y'all doesn't mean that I'm less of a man or that I'm just, you know, a bad person. I said, Daddy has never done anything bad to y'all. He said, no. My oldest son, he was just like, he didn't care. He 9. He don't care. He's like, Daddy, I love you either way. And I hate the fact that I had to have that conversation with them so young. Like them being so young, I hate anybody to open their eyes up to something like that at that early age.
I see that. No, that leads us to the next question, where did you really want to talk to them that day, or would you rather them grow up?
I would have rather them grow up, but I felt like there was an opportunity for me to talk to them because somebody else said I would talk.
Yeah.
So I felt like it wasn't. I was kind of selfish in that moment because I wanted to tell my kids myself.
Right.
I didn't want nobody to explain that to them and basically put it as, oh, they serve the devil and all this. No, that's not the case, because every gay person is not bad. Like, I mean, it's a lot of straight people out here who do a lot of bad stuff. And gay people don't. Some gay people just are just as genuine as good, and I admit most of them gonna get in the heaven before some of these straight folks, honestly. Right. So, you know, it was hard to have that conversation, but I felt like I needed to right then.
So with you being a gay male, you know, would you show them another male with you?
I would. I told them about the guy that I'm dating now. I didn't. They never seen me do any gay things because I'm married to him. So they never seen me do any gay things. They even said that they never seen me do any gay things. So they knew, but they didn't really know.
So let me pause for that. So I want to ask this question. So are you dating somebody? Now,
I am.
And would you ever show your kids who you're dating?
I will, but they wouldn't see us do any activities, like any gay stuff. They don't know if it's probably daddy's significant other, boyfriend, whatever they want to call it at the time, but they wouldn't see us do all that extra stuff.
And last but not least, so have you ever thought about how people view your kids, or do you think they will bully their kids by their parents? You know how the kids and stuff are now?
I feel like it don't mostly come from kids. It comes from the parents. Because I've even had a recent incident where somebody was telling me, oh, well, your kids made this on you, they made this and that third when they get older, like, how you gonna, they make you a bad parent, all kind of crazy shit. And I was just like, being straight or gay don't make a child grow up to be gay. It don't. It's all about how you treat that child and you raise that child, and then on top of it, if one of my kids decide today, like, okay, Daddy, I'm gonna be gay, they're 9, 6, and 5, I'm gonna be like, okay, so be careful. I still love you. And then most people who do that, I feel like it'll be a lot less suicidal attempts. It'll be a lot less people running out here just doing crazy stuff, getting with people because they need security. Like, it'll be a lot less of it. If you're dealing with crazy men like I did in my marriage, and you know, they'll be a lot better. So, yeah.